Hi guys, so I hope you have watched the part 1 of this C++ pattern programs. If you haven't watched that, first let us go there, watch the part 1 and then you come back to this video. Then you'll be able to understand this video in a better way. So in part 1 we have seen the type 1 pattern programs. In part 2 we will see the type 2 pattern programs. There are many types, but in your board's exam they will only ask type 1 or type 2, or they won't ask pattern program at all. Okay, so let us start with pattern type 2 programs. So how would type 2 programs look like? So type 2 programs look something like this. So there will be two loops again for line generation and for how many things are to be printed. So the first loop tells you how many lines. Second loop tells you how many things to be printed on each line. So let me take a very simple example. So let us say we have this particular group. So let me ask you two questions. How many lines? You will say 4. Then the second question is more important and very interesting. How many things to be printed on each line? So you will say on the first line 4 things are to be printed. On the second line 3 things are to be printed. On the third line 2 things are to be printed. On the last line 1 thing is to be printed. And again this is a type 2 program. So let us see how do you go about this. So there will be two loops. First is for line generation. So for line generation I always say cout and line. Okay. How many lines? 1, 2, 3, 4. So first part remains the same. I will say int I is equal to 1. I is less than or equal to 4 because there are 4 lines, and I plus. Now the initial part is very simple to understand if you have watched the first part of this video series. Now the second part is pretty interesting. There will be another for loop. Now this tells you how many things are to be printed. Okay. So on the first line there are 4 things to be printed. So I will say int j is equal to 4. Int j is equal to 4. But then on the second line there are 3 things to be printed. On the third line there are 2 things to be printed. And on the last line there is only 1 thing to be printed. It means I will not increment j, rather I will decrement j. This is the decrement operator which will decrement the values of j from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. Now what should be the middle condition? If you have watched the part 1, then it is very easy for you. In the part 1 it was j less than or equal to I. So in the part 2 it will be j greater than or equal to I. So for the type 2 programs, just remember the skeleton of the program and you are done. Any kind of type 2 program will have these two for loops or machines which are going to generate your output without any error. So part 1 is I 1 to up to number of lines, and part 2 is j 4 and j greater than or equal to I, j minus. I will make you understand by executing this loop. Let us say cout asterisk and again a blank space. This gets done. Okay, let us execute this. If I is equal to 1, I will go inside. J is equal to 4. 4 is greater than or equal to I. So cout asterisk. Then j minus, j will go 3. So 3 is greater than or equal to 1. Again loop will be generated. Cout asterisk j minus 2. 2 is greater than or equal to 1. Again j minus 1. 1 is greater than or equal to 1. Yes. Cout asterisk. So 4 times this inner loop got generated. Then this will come out. Cout and then new line will be generated. Then your new value of I will be I plus plus, which is 2, and j's new value will be 4, but j minus minus, so it will go from 4, 3, 2. It means only 3 things to be printed because the value of I now is 2. In the third part, value of I will be 3 and j will go from 4 to 3. Only 2 things. And in the last part, value of I will be 4 and j will also be 4. So 4 is greater than or equal to 4. Only one thing will be printed. So you do not have to spare so much of your brain if you are just preparing this for 12th standard. All you need to understand is that it's a type 2 program. Initial part will be I equal to 1, I is less than or equal to number of lines, and the latter part will be j equal to maximum value, and in between it will be, instead of j less than or equal to I, it will be j greater than or equal to I, and j minus minus, and the hash include iostream.h. It is for your cin and cout operators. Hash include conio.h is for your output generation. Then you have void main clear screen, and lastly you have get character. Now many of the students will be having some doubts that what if we need to print something other than asterisk. Then that particular things we are going to watch it in our next video. But make sure that you understand type 1 and type 2 programs. What are type 1 programs? Type 1 programs are this, and what are type 2 programs? Type 2 programs are this. Let me say this is 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So let us have a look. I will go from 1 to 4 and I plus plus, and j will go from 1 and j is less than or equal to I, j plus plus. For type 2 it will be I is equal to 1, I is less than or equal to 4, I plus plus, j will be equal to over here 4, j will be equal to greater than or equal to I, and j minus minus. And this is how you can easily deal with type 1 and type 2. For exam, you don't have to do anything else, only type 1 and type 2, and your board's exams is done. We will meet each other in the next part of the video, that is part 3. Thank you for watching the video, guys.